Welcome back to the Weekend Wake Up Show. Very excited to bring onto the program Kim Zebier. She's the Executive Director of Winnipeg Lost Dog Alert. Kim, welcome to the Weekend Wake Up Show.
Thank you very much.
Now, I'm a really big fan of your organization and the services that you provide. I know that it's very volunteer based, and a lot of I think the success rate is due to the social media that you guys kind of keep in touch with, and everyone in Winnipeg that follows your Facebook group. But for people who are not familiar with Winnipeg Lost Dog Alert, why don't you tell us, who you are and really what you guys do?
Well, Winnipeg Lost Dog Alert, or WLDA as we like to call it, is a volunteer-based organization that's dedicated to help reunite lost dogs with their owners. Primarily how it works is when the owners find out about us, they post a picture of the dog on our page, and we send it out to our 4,700-plus members to get the word out there about this dog that's missing and for people to keep their eyes open and hopefully, get the dog home. The volunteers in our organization and on our page are a vital role in reuniting these dogs. They not only give support or tips on what to do when you find or lost a dog, they also go out there searching in their vehicles, using their gas, or by foot, walking through bushes and swamp and ticks and mosquitoes. Plus, they take time out wee hours in the morning. They'll watch a trap that we've had set that we were trying to get one of the tough dogs. Without the volunteers, we wouldn't be able to get these dogs home.
Wow. How did WLDA, or the Winnipeg Lost Dog Alert, how did it first get started?
It was created January 23rd, 2011, after a night of searching for a dog by the name of Tanner. So
it's a fairly young organization that you've got going on.
Definitely.
Tell us about the story, the story of Tanner getting lost, and that inspired this organization.
Well, basically what it was a group of people had been out looking for Tanner, and a gentleman by the name of Greg Mitchell was one of them. And one night after looking for Tanner, he went home and created this page. And a fellow dog searcher that was also out looking for Tanner by the name of Rhonda Cook helped Greg come up with the name Winnipeg Lost Dog Alert, and hence here we are.
So it was essentially born on Facebook. It's always been something that has been on Facebook and that kind of started out as social media rather than being on a website and then slowly graduating to Facebook.
Definitely. It started exactly that way, right from Facebook.
Do you have an idea as to how many dogs go missing every month or year? Do you see kind of maybe a trend throughout the year, anything like that?
Well, as the word is getting out about us, definitely more and more. Just looking at September alone, we had approximately 80 dogs posted that were lost and 110 reports of somebody finding a stray dog. Now, some of these have been transferred to the Winnipeg Lost Dog Alert Facebook page from some of our volunteers scanning Kijiji ads and stuff like that. And when our volunteers come across a dog that's missing or found, they will send a message to the person who put the ad on whatever Kijiji or whatever it is, just to let them know about our organization. And in most cases, they end up coming to and joining our page.
So they're really proactive and kind of spreading the word and not just kind of waiting for people to come and find the page. They're going out there and I guess doing all they can to let people know about this service. Because some people don't know about it.
For the volunteers, they're the ones who do most of the legwork here in getting these dogs home.
Do you find that there's like a main reason, a main culprit for a dog to go missing? Like, do they usually just kind of escape from the yard, or is it, going for a walk and then they get loose off the leash? I know that sometimes, and it's absolutely unfortunate that it happens, but dogs can be picked out of yards by other people and stolen, whether it's as a joke or for other reasons. Do you see kind of one of these as being the most popular?
Actually, you're hitting the nail right on the whatever, how you say that.
On the head.
The most common is the gates being left open, or they leave their dog unattended. That's a very big one. And then the dogs will find a hole or escape or something like that. They definitely do get off leashes, especially, if they hear loud noises. And what I've been hearing, too, are owners saying, well, I've had my dog for 10 years. I know my dog. He's not going to go running. But you know what? All it takes is one moment. You could be out in your front yard working, and your dog is there with you, and your dog is not on a leash because you say your dog doesn't run. A car might come along and backfire. There goes your dog. Your dog's running in fear. And it could be like hours, weeks, months before you get your dog back. So it's our responsibility to keep our dogs safe.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, a squirrel or a rabbit, jumps in front of the dog. We were talking about this around Canada Day with the Winnipeg Humane Society, how fireworks is a huge, huge issue with some of these dogs, including thunder. But a lot of people forget they'll leave their dogs who normally don't stray out. There's some fireworks and bam, they're gone. So.
Exactly. We have volunteers. Actually, I just posted one this morning that there's fireworks happening out of town, and we'll post it on our page to try and remind everybody, watch your dogs.
How long on average would you say it takes to locate a missing dog? I know that every kind of case is special and different, but do you find that most of the dogs you guys hear about and post about come home quickly, or?
Well, like you say, every case is different. It could be minutes from somebody finding a dog and posting it on WLDA to the owner coming on a few minutes later after they find out about us and posting a picture, and they might scroll down and there's my dog. It could be longer than that, like a year. It depends. Every situation is different.
Okay. If you're just joining us right now, we're speaking with Kim Zabier. She's the executive director at Winnipeg Lost Dog Alert, and they've got a website, but they're primarily really prevalent on Facebook, and it's an organization that is all set up for helping you find your dog if it ever goes missing. And I know that you guys have posted cats and other animals as well, so not only just dogs, but you have some truly special success stories. One more recent story. When I found out that this dog found his home, I literally was in tears at home on my computer. A little dog by the name of Griffin. He found his way home after being lost for several weeks. And I know that there are some dogs that you guys have you mentioned earlier, setting traps for. Some of the more difficult dogs to catch and bring home because they're really scared. First of all, why don't you tell us a little bit about the story of Griffin?
Well, we do have a lot of amazing stories, like you say, from Tanner to Dozer and Cheyenne, and there was Maddie and Selkirk just recently. But Griffin, too, what happened was Griffin escaped from the family vehicle in St. Vital by Dakota and Bishop Grandin.
He jumped out the window, right? Or
the gentleman opened up the door, I believe,
okay.
and Griffin escaped. To make the story a little short, there were two sightings of Griffin in two different locations. One was in St. Vital, where the dog originally went missing, and the other one was in the area Markham and Chancellor, just off of Pembina. What ended up happening was we ended up bringing out our tracker dog, Shadow, and his handler. They started in the Chancellor area with no luck at all for Griffin. So they ended up going back to St. Vital and had positive results. Shadow right away caught on to Griffin's scent. So once we had the confirmation that Griffin was there, we ended up setting up the trap and scheduling volunteers to come and watch the trap while it was set up. And because Shadow was able to confirm that Griffin was there, we were able to have her trapped within a matter of hours.
Wow, and then brought her home.
Exactly.
And now she's home with her family. I saw pictures, very, very happy.
That's
you mentioned a trap, and I guess we should mention that these traps are very, very humane, and that they're very different than, I guess, the negative connotation we have often with trapping animals.
Exactly. Like, we wouldn't do anything to harm an animal. So, yes, these traps are specifically live traps. They do not hurt the animal at all. Basically, we set it up with food inside. They walk in, they step on the trigger, and the gate closes. And they're locked in there until we can get them into a safe place.
And then they can be brought home.
Exactly.
So temperatures are starting to drop right now, and this is one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you guys on. We're reminded that our brutal Manitoba winter is on the way. Not a good thing for missing dogs. What are some preventative tips for ensuring that a dog doesn't find himself in the situation of being lost? If we can avoid the situation altogether, that's really, I guess, the ideal thing, right?
Yeah, never leave your dog unattended. Even though you have a fenced-in yard, please watch your dogs out there, because Grounds shifts, there's gaps. Dogs always find a way to get out of the yard. Check your fences, check your gates on a regular basis, and most of all, make sure your dog is wearing ID at all times.
Okay. And it's important, I guess, also to put the right kind of information on ID tags, because sometimes you'll spot a tag and it just says the dog's name or something, but really, I guess the address, phone number, those are really important things.
Those are definitely important things, but you must also make sure that your dog is licensed. It's the law, and it helps get your dog home faster. Plus, there's the tattoos and the microchips that are out there. Tattoos have a tendency to fade after time. Microchips are probably your best bet. They're only about $30, and it's hardly a waiting time for it to get done. The dog does not stay overnight. You just go in there, they insert it, and the dog goes home. Make sure that your information with the City of Winnipeg and your vets are up to date. Maybe get in the habit of checking it once a year, making sure there's no typos or anything like that. Also, if you have a microchip in your dog, when you bring your dog into the vet for the annual checkup and the shots, please ask them to check to make sure that the microchip is still active and not malfunctioning.
It's a good point. I never thought of that. It could very well do that, I guess, eventually. If someone wants to become more active with Winnipeg Lost Dog Alert, if let's say they've got some time on their hands, they want to do some volunteering, or they just want to help out, maybe they have a dog similar to Shadow that they believe could be a very well possible tracking dog. How can they help or become a volunteer?
Well, the first way is search for us on Facebook, find us and like us on Facebook. Once you hit like, you're part of our community. Any updates of lost dogs that go out there, you will get it. And there possibly could be a dog in your location that you could go out and help get the dog home. We also, like we mentioned before, we have a website. There is a tab on there called Volunteers. Please check it out, read it. It basically tells you what we're looking for registered volunteers. If you're interested, then click on the volunteer form on our website, fill it out, submit it, and you're a registered volunteer.
I know that you guys, we have to mention but quickly before we go, we're running late, but your first annual Bud, Spud, and Steak event is coming up, and it's in support of the Winnipeg Lost Dog Alert. Why don't you tell us about that real quick?
I'm actually very excited about that one, and yes, it is coming up real quick. It's basically to raise money to get safety gear for our searchers, because they're out there wee hours of the morning, so they need to be seen. We need flashlights and bite gloves, because the dogs, even though they're soft and cuddly and they love people, they're in fear mode, and they could bite you. Not to mention we need various size traps, because there's not just one size of dogs that we're trying to get home, as well as there's other operating expenses such as printing. We do up pamphlets, and we hand them out on a regular basis to get the word out about WLDA, Winnipeg Lost Dog Alert, and also to help educate people.
All right. We have been speaking with Kim Zabier from Winnipeg Lost Dog Alert. She's the executive director. Again, the website, Winnipeg Lost Dog Alert, but go to Facebook and constantly updating all the dogs that are looking for their homes and who are missing in our city. It's a fantastic resource. Kim, thank you so much for joining us and telling us more about it.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. It helps to get the word out about Winnipeg Lost Dog Alert. For everyone that's listening, yes, please check us out on Facebook. If you see a dog alone, a dog is lost, please keep it safe. Do whatever it means, get it off the street. And also for the ones that are still missing your dogs, please never, ever give up.
You're listening to the Weekend Wake Up Show on CJOB 68.